We gathered today to find joy together, to find growth and possibility and wonder in a world that subverts our truest longings and distracts us with shiny things. May the light of our gathering open our eyes to what is truest and most valuable in our lives. Together, let us turn away from what we're supposed to want and toward what really matters. Let us turn toward love and compassion and connection. May it be so. I'd like to invite you to rise as you're able, and we'll sing together. Morning has come. It's the very first song in your book. Okay, you can sit here. You guys could wait here if you want. It's up to you. It is a dark, drizzly day, and you light it up. So in this radically inclusive place, no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, what you do, what you look like, what you sound like, what your joys and sorrows are, no matter your ability or disability, whether you're male or female or other, no matter who you love, you are welcome here. There's a place for you here. And for those of you who are here for the very first time, what a courageous thing to do. Welcome. It's scary, but let us help you to feel welcome here. Let us help you to feel at home. And for everyone, I hope that the next hour brings you something that inspires you, something that makes you think, something that makes you wonder, maybe be a little bit amused, and something to make you uncomfortable enough to push you a little bit to grow. Whoever you are, You are not alone. You are welcome here. So I'd like to invite all the children to come forward to the table right now. Let's go.
Hello again.
Good morning, everybody. I have a very interesting Leo today. Last week we learned about a little boy called
Iqbal.
who lived in a country called
Pakistan.
And Iqbal, his parents had to get a loan and they couldn't pay it back. So what happened, Leo?
He had to work in a carpet factory.
He had to work in a carpet factory. And do you remember how old he was when he had to work in a carpet factory? He was 4.
Okay.
He was 4 when he had to work in the carpet factory. And the people in the carpet factory liked little children because they had very small fingers and they could make very intricate patterns. We had to go weaving last week and it's really quite difficult, isn't it?
No.
It's not difficult, sorry, my mistake. So, what happened, Leo?
Okay, basically, he works for me. His parents do the loan. They can't pay it back. He works in the carpet factory. He's got really small hands. One day he goes back home, finds out it's illegal, and that children work in the carpet factory. Then
One day he saw a poster that declared that it was illegal for children to work in carpet factories. But nobody had ever told him this, or his parents, or any of the other children, or the other parents of the children who were working in the carpet factory. So he went back and he told them all. And they had to let the children go free and go back to their parents. And then, do you remember what else he did? He was quite old, he was about 10 or 11 by this point, so he had actually been working in the factory for several years. And quite a lot of children work in factories across the world.
yeah, but not in London.
But not in London.
Because there's not much factories.
Yeah. So,
But that's outside of London.
there are some factories in London, but not very many.
Not much.
But this little boy, he saw it was really unfair and that nobody was standing up for the children, so he went and he travelled to other towns to tell the other children who were working in the other factories and the other parents that it was illegal. So he managed to free lots and lots and lots of children from factories. And the people who ended up getting the carpets, do you think they knew that children were making their carpets?
Is that?
I doubt it. I don't. Yes, no is the right answer. I don't. Some people possibly did, but I think a lot of people didn't know that people were making their little children were making their carpets.
So basically, he had magic powers, so he could see the posters, but then no people saw it because they didn't have magic powers.
Nobody else cared, I think,
Okay.
except for the people. And he was fortunate because he could read. A lot of the other children couldn't read, and a lot of the other parents couldn't read either. So sometimes you don't know who makes your things that you're wearing or standing on or using, and sometimes it might be worth thinking about that. What do you think? The answer is yes. Okay, thank you very much.
Leonard Cohen's from Montreal, and I've just got back, so this is suitable. The land of plenty. Don't really have the courage to stand where I must stand. Don't really have the temperament to lend a helping hand. Don't really know who sent me to raise my voice and say, May the lights in the land of plenty shine on the truth someday. I don't know why I come here knowing as I do what you really think of me, what I really think of you. For the millions in the prison that wealth has set apart, for the Christ who has not risen from the caverns of the heart, for the innermost decision that we cannot but obey, for what's left of our religion, I lift my voice and pray. May the lights in the land of plenty shine on the truth someday. I know I said I'd meet you at the store, but I can't buy it, baby. I can't buy it anymore. And I don't really know who sent me to raise my voice and say, may the lights in the land of plenty shine on the truth someday. For the innermost decision that we cannot but obey, for what's left of our religion, I lift my voice and pray. May the lights in the land of plenty shine on the truth someday.
This reading is taken from A Reasonable Life by Florence Montague. We seldom consider how much of our lives we must render in return for some object we barely want, seldom need, buy only because it was put before us. And this is understandable, given the workings of our system where without a job we perish, where if we don't want a job and are happy to get by, we are labelled irresponsible, non-contributing leeches on society. But if we hire a fleet of bulldozers, tear up half the countryside, and build some monstrous factory, casino or more, we are called entrepreneurs, job creators, stalwarts of the community. Maybe we should all be shut away on some planet for the insane. Then again, maybe that is where we are.
Thank you both, Jackie and Roberta, for a great reading. We're going to invite you to rise as you're able, and we'll sing together number 1052, which is called The Oneness of Everything. Please rise as you're able.
Oh,
Here's a short story. Once upon a time there was a fish, and this fish swam to the surface of the water in which she lived. And she saw the reflections and the light as she always had, but on this occasion something possessed her, and she decided to do something really strange, to swim straight for that light as fast as she could. So she backed up to get as much speed as possible, and she swam forward, and she broke right through that barrier, finding herself leaping through some kind of non-water, which we call air. And enlightenment came to her at that moment, as she realized that she and her kind live in one sphere, but that there are others. Water was all she had known, but now there was more. So she returned to her friends with great excitement and to her family to tell them this amazing news. And they sent her to a fish psychiatrist because of her obvious delusions. It's true. No, this is absolutely true. So, we all live with certain shared cultural assumptions about the way the world is, the way it works, and it's the only way it can work. And so, like a fish in water, we don't imagine that there could be anything more than we know there is. And if we do recognize that there is more or other ways of being, we might not quite get sent for help, we might not get sectioned, but we can be fairly sure that it will be very hard to get anyone else to listen. And the assumption, the way of living, the way of thinking that I want to talk about today is consumerism. And that means a way of being that dominates our society and almost everything in it, but it is an assumption that goes mostly unexamined and unchallenged. And what I find absolutely amazing and wonderful is that amongst you, in this congregation, are many fish who have seen the air and who have become aware of our condition and know that there are other ways. And we're going to have some time later to share some of your visions of air and about how you've come to challenge the assumptions of water. So, consumerism. First of all, what have you bought lately that was at least briefly exciting? Anybody buy anything? I bought a new leash thing for my dog that runs out 8 meters, and he's very excited about it. What did you get? Oh, what? Fur-lined boots, and they're nice and warm, and they'll last a couple of years, maybe. Yeah. What did anybody else get?
Pressure cooker.
A pressure cooker. But I have one. Are you using it? Yeah? Who got the pressure cooker? Oh, and you've been using it? You cool last? Cool. Are you excited? What else? Jane?
Seltzer maker.
A seltzer maker. Yeah, that's pretty exciting for a while. I've done that. Roberta?
A ticket to Canada and back.
A service, a thing that disappears, you don't carry it around, you don't keep it, but you get to use it. And the carbon, it's true. We talked about that last week. There's that bit of guilt, so we're still struggling with that. That's what we decided to do, struggle with that. But what else did people get?
A muffin.
A what? A what?
A muffin.
You bought a muffin and you ate it.
Yes.
It was nice.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's exciting too. Yeah.
Pretty exciting.
A printer, inkjet,
Laser.
laser, black and white or color.
Black and white.
Nice. What'd you get?
I got a microwave pot so you can cook actual meals in.
Two plastic. Guess what?
Plastic.
Yeah, plastic.
It was.
Oh, ceramic. Okay. A ceramic pot to cook in the microwave. Yeah, very nice. Did I see a hand there? Oh, which?
Bluetooth speaker.
A what?
Bluetooth speaker.
A Bluetooth speaker.
Very cool.
These are the things of our lives. These are awesome. What? Somebody else get something exciting? Okay. Let's not forget my, Android watch, which delighted me for about 5 minutes, and now continues to annoy the hell out of me because it's constantly buzzing. It's like, you've got something to do. You've got something somebody wants to talk to you. Okay. So what is consumerism? Consumerism is a word that has several different definitions, which makes it kind of confusing and different ways of understanding. But the one I want to focus on today is the meaning that Ferenc Mate was talking about in our reading, which Jackie so ably shared with us. Ferenc Mate is an author. He was a refugee from Transylvania, now lives in France, and he writes about simplicity. Consumerism is not just about consuming, because we all need to consume. We need to consume to live. We need food, we need water, we need shelter, we need all of those things. Consuming is not a bad thing. But consumerism is consumption elevated to the highest value, to a way of life, to be the greatest good. Consumerism is a way of life that goes far beyond having a need or even a desire. It's hunger for more and for newer, and it's a hunger that can never really be fully satisfied. Consumerism goes hand in hand with the notion that business always has to grow, that however much we have, we will and should, as time passes, have more. And that a good and proper life is about striving for more and newer, shinier things. Ferenc Mate points out the absurdity of the fact that living a simple life is condemned as lazy, while destroying vast amounts of land for progress is considered virtuous. So voluntary simplicity would be the opposite of consumerism. It is the heir to the water of consumerism, as it challenges all of those watery assumptions of what living is supposed to be all about. Now, I am no economist, and I will not pretend to be, and I will not dare to take up the subject of how our economic system depends on companies getting ever more profitable and GDPs continuing to rise, and somebody else can explain that to me. We can have very intellectual discussions about it, and I won't understand them. But what I know to be true is that this assumption has driven members of our society to become oriented toward consuming as the greatest way of living. Have you heard the term retail therapy? Right? That is a term that so clearly shows that we should expect buying to bring relief from our pain, our sorrow, our emptiness. Shopping is what brings satisfaction. But it doesn't. In fact, if purchases were actually satisfying for anything more than the moment, our whole system would come crashing down to the ground. Author Philip Carey says this, describing how it works. He says, to be a good consumer, you have to desire to get a lot of things, but you must not love any of them too much once you have them. Because, you see, consumerism needs children who do not stay attached to their toys for very long and learn to expect the next round of presents as soon as possible. When consumerism succeeds, our attachments are shallow, easily broken, so we can move on to the next thing we're supposed to get. So consumerism dangles joy in front of us, but it's a manufactured joy that turns to dust so quickly, we are immediately left wanting for more and jumping for the next shiny thing. Consumerism is designed to make us want. If it satisfied that want for too long, it would bring about its own destruction. And real satisfaction, the satisfaction of greater simplicity and the joy of depth and time and relationship, that's all lost in the frenzy to get more. Consumerism replaces our true happiness with a false one that breaks as quickly as those shoddy products did. And of course, as Sarah talked about with the children, consumerism has no place for justice. When we want more and faster and newer, we also want cheaper. And that comes at the expense of workers everywhere. And this is the water in which we swim. It's the water in which most members of our species, which some have very cleverly renamed Homo consumericus, I know it's good out, Homo consumericus, live and do not question. But many of you, I know, have seen air. And you have found ways, even small ones, to challenge the assumptions of consumerism. So, you received some fish drawings when you came in. And if you gave, I saw some of you give them very generously to children because they seemed really excited. And I have some extras, so if you want some in a second, I will ask you to raise your hand. But what I'd like you to do is just grab a pen and write a few thoughts on that fish. Thoughts about how consumerism, what advice can you give the rest of us? What have you figured out about how to survive consumerism? How to live at least a little bit in the air instead of just the water? And I'm not going to, after we write for a little bit, I'm going to invite anyone who wants to share briefly some ideas, and then I'm going to invite you to pin your fish onto our lovely new pin board in the kitchen. I don't know if you've seen the pin board, but it's awesome. And then everybody can look at them and talk and see what people have written. So let's write on our fish. Yeah? Fish. Okay, raise your hand if you lost your fish, you didn't get a fish, or need to learn to fish. Okay. You guys, I'll look for more. Does anybody have an extra fish anywhere? Is there an extra fish? So, a few airfish thoughts, perhaps? Yeah, Bodhi. Do you want to stand up and so people can hear you?
There's no such thing as no user serviceable parts.
There you go. Yes, actually some things can be repaired, despite the fact that you think not. And Bodhi will be glad to take it apart for you, because I've given him things and he loves taking them apart. So, Bodhi's your man. What else? Yes.
Repurpose.
Repurpose.
Mark's t-shirts become vestos and then shoe racks and then they can go away.
Right. Things can have multiple lives. Thank you.
Practice gratitude every day. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for in your life.
Practice gratitude so that you actually can appreciate the things that you have.
Yeah.
And you write down 3 things each day?
Yeah, they don't have to be like, I don't know, I've got an Xbox this minute, but
Yes.
just thinking about what makes you happy in your life instead of buying things that make you happy.
That's a great practice to really start to try to work at appreciating the things you have. Somebody said, there's a great book called it's a really great book. You know the one. Sorry, Alex.
Make something that gives lifelong pleasure and joy.
Can you say a little more? It's like a game.
Scrabble.
Yeah.
Like one Scrabble box.
Yeah.
The kind of fun per unit of
Yeah.
energy and materials. You
Yeah.
know, like, you can get 50 years of fun out of one Scrabble box.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
So games actually can be those things, and not to advertise. Alex has just made this amazing but it's true. I mean, how many of you spent endless hours as children with games that provided incredible pleasure? And you don't have to get a new thing every time, and it doesn't have to be battery operated, it doesn't have to have a processor in it. There's things that are simple that causes huge pleasure. Sarah.
Speaking of new things, so I have an iPhone 4S, and people tease me and call it valid or a dinosaur, and I say, just because Apple keeps bringing out new phones doesn't mean I have to keep buying them. This makes phone calls, and it works for me, so it's fine.
Just because there's a new one doesn't mean you have to buy the new one. Michael, we love this stage, by the way. Just to remind you, in case you don't know, Michael made this stage. Sorry, I have to embarrass him.
Don't be tempted into the Apple prison.
Okay, I'm not going to challenge the Apple fanboys and girls in the audience, but yeah. Yes.
Swim towards charity shops and avoid current trends which place value on shallow objects.
Oh dear. So, Terry, swim towards charity shops, avoid shallow friends. No, current friends. Current friends that lead you towards shallow objects. Joe, thank you, Joe.
Often I'm not very present for a lot of my experience day to day. Yeah. And so sometimes I try and remind myself to be present to experience more deeply just simple moments when I actually am satisfied.
Yes.
So
just being present to the experiences of your life allows you to appreciate them. It doesn't have to be a shiny new thing to dazzle you for that moment. There's so much joy around it. Thank you. Jasmine?
Reminds me about the charity as well. Sort out quality clothes we've got.
Yeah. Yes. Send off the quality clothes you haven't worn for a long time to a charity shop. Provide joy and quality to somebody else. And we don't have to play that game, Rich.
How about some nature time?
Nature?
Particularly with kids, like, they can cut up the leaves and sits and pushes their set.
Yeah, right. There's lots of things in nature, especially for kids and puppies, I will tell you. They really love that. Yeah, there's amazing amounts of junk, worthless stuff that's so valuable.
Josephine, actually, I think it was last year, said beginning of January that she wasn't going to. Well, she just completed a year of not buying any new clothes.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I thought that's a good idea, so I did it until the beginning of December.
But you bought a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so actually you can get away without buying clothes for a while. Yeah. Okay, one more. Alex.
Make things and create things. Once you get into that mindset, you realize that a lot of the things you buy,
you can make stuff.
It's very easy to make yourself, and then you often realize that it would be easy, but you don't really need it anyway. Yeah. The internet's loaded with DIY sites, and you can make just about anything, and often you start making it so you realize, that was a passing thrill, wasn't it? All right, thank you all so much. I think that helps me, gives me some ideas. Do put your fish on the pin board when you go in to get some coffee, and we can all share them. So we're going to have a collection now. As always, our collections go to charity, and you probably are all very familiar with CalAid. CalAid does amazing work helping refugees from Syria and Afghanistan and other places who are residing in refugee camps called the Jungle in Calais. I also have, I apologize, there's 4 clipboards circulating. They say on them what they are, and you'll figure that out.
Technical problems.
Your favorite Harry.
Anybody want a pair of bass clarinet?
thoughts for that bass guitar. So, as we do each week, I'd like to invite those of you